Hello, welcome everyone. How's everyone doing? I'm glad to see everybody here. I'm glad everybody made it out here. I think this is the most packed I've seen the chapel. Really excited. So today is such an important day for the college. We celebrate the groundbreaking of a new center on campus, and today we celebrate the founding of this institution. Founders Day gives us a time to think about what this institution, and indeed what this community, means to us. In 1833, the establishment of this community, that would later go on to become a pioneer in education, was a humble occurrence. And yet today, Kalamazoo College enjoys its prominence among liberal arts colleges. However, the very fabric and the success that Kalamazoo enjoys is its 180 years of community. To me, this community has meant home. It has meant growth, learning, and nourishment. As for all students, I leave here with a unique education that extends beyond the classroom and into my day-to-day interactions. This is the reality of this community, that engagement and growth are the sustenance of every day. But this is not so unique to our time. To tell us more about what was happening during 1833, I'd like us to welcome Ian Flanagan to tell us more about what was happening during that great year. Thank you.
All right. Ever wonder what was happening back during the year the college was founded? Well, in 1833, it was the beginning of Democrat Andrew Jackson's second term as President of the United States. The country had 24 states, a 24-star flag, and a government starkly divided between a Democratic House of Representatives and a National Republican Senate. From the birth of Benjamin Harrison in August 1833, the nation had 2 former, 1 current, and 15 future presidents alive simultaneously, a record that lasts to this day. In that year, William Lloyd Garrison and other abolitionists founded the American Anti-Slavery Society in Philadelphia, the nation's most influential anti-slavery association. The British Parliament passed legislation abolishing slavery throughout the British Empire that went into effect in 1834. The tiny hamlet of Chicago received its first town charter and elected a board of trustees. It will receive its first city charter in 1837. Residents established the first tax-supported library in the United States in Peterborough, New Hampshire. With Henry Clay's Compromise in 1833, Congress ended the nullification crisis, during which Southern politicians argued that states could invalidate federal laws and even threaten to secede, a prelude to the Civil War. The Boston Academy of Music was founded as the first institution for musical education in the United States. The Academy was revived in the 20th century and survives to this day. French chemist Anselme Payen discovered diastase, the first known enzyme, laying the foundation for the field of biochemistry. He later discovered cellulose and pioneered the industrial use of borax. Mathematician Carl Friedrich Gauss and physicist Wilhelm Weber built a medium-distance electrical telegraph in Göttingen, Germany. The telegraph line stretched almost 4,000 feet, and the scientists invented their own telegraphic alphabet to communicate over it. If you'd like more information on the early college or things happening in 1833, please see the boards on both sides. And without further ado, I would like to introduce the president of Kalamazoo College, Eileen Wilson-Oyelaran.
Good morning, everyone. It's so exciting to see the chapel so full. Let me join Darwin in welcoming you to the 180th commemoration of the founding of Kalamazoo College and to this special celebration of the 50th anniversary of the full implementation of the K Plan. And we can all see, listening to Ian, that we have a historian in the making. Ian, thank you very much for compiling that 1833 list. On April 22nd, 1833, the Reverend Thomas W. Merrill and Mr. Caleb Eldred secured a charter from the Michigan Territorial Legislature. You notice there were 24 states Michigan was not one of them at the time. Michigan was still a territory. And that charter established the Michigan and Huron Institute, the institution that was later to become known as Kalamazoo College. The location for the school had not been determined when the charter was awarded, and Merrill and Eldred traversed the Michigan territory on horseback in search of a location. In 1835, they identified a site for the institute in the community that would come to be known as Kalamazoo. Now, as they looked around for a site, I think they realized that they didn't need merely space, they also needed money. So I'm sure that the willingness of the people of Kalamazoo to provide the sum of 115 acres and $2,500 for buildings helped Merrill decide that Kalamazoo was the right place to establish the institution he envisioned. With the support of the community and these visionary Baptists, the first building was erected in the summer of 1836 on Westnedge between Cedar and Walnut Streets. And if you go down there, you can see a historic marker. The first students enrolled in classes that fall. In 1843, the Reverend James Stone and his wife Lucinda arrived in Kalamazoo, and they brought energy and exceptional leadership to the Institute. Under their guidance, the curriculum was expanded. The state of Michigan authorized the college to award the baccalaureate degree, and enrollment increased. But the Stones brought much more to Kay than these gifts of material growth. James and Lucinda Stone nurtured the spirit that has come to mark Kalamazoo College. They inspired a love of learning among faculty and students. They aroused and energized their students so that, and I quote, "the hardest work became agreeable," unquote. I think that's true today. Our students do the hardest work in a very agreeable fashion. The Stones also brought a spirit of progressivism that informs our work today. The Stones recognized the importance of strong bonds between faculty and students, and they fostered such bonds by their own example. Each Founders Day celebration provides an opportunity for the campus community to honor the vision of our founders, Thomas Merrill and James and Lucinda Stone. Today we have come to honor our founders by celebrating the vibrant intellectual community that sits on this fair Arcadian hill. By acknowledging and celebrating all that is accomplished here by so very many individuals, including every single person in this room. And so I welcome you to this very, very special commemoration of our 180th year and the 50th anniversary of the K Plan. An amazing team of individuals has worked tirelessly to make this event possible. They even had cheerleaders cheering in the snow. I would like to thank the 2013 Founders Day Committee led by Karen Joshua Wathel, with members Sally Arndt, Ian Flanagan, Kendra Leap, Katie Pinich, Jim Turner, and Jerry Vincent. The members of the planning committee are all over. Dean Joshua, please come in. Don't try to hide behind the door. Will the other members of the committee please stand so we can thank you for your work? And now we will be favored by a musical selection. Welcome. would be great to have a crowd just like this at Into the Woods. Right, Ed? Our speaker for this morning's convocation is no stranger. Jim Van Sweden is a 1973 graduate of K. He majored in English because he loves the power of a story. After graduation, he worked for 10 years as a public school teacher at both the middle school and high school levels. He was an English teacher and, not surprisingly given his height, a basketball coach. For 15 years, he worked in the pharmaceutical industry. And at the end of that time, he was the Upjohn Company's liaison with HIV activist groups in the United States and Europe. Since 1998, Jim has devoted his talents to Kalamazoo College as the director of the Office of College Communication, editing the college's publications, advising the president, and providing wonderful liaison for our neighborhood. Please welcome Jim Van Sweden.
In 1969, my freshman fall here, these Friday morning gatherings were mandatory for students. That was part of the K plan then. And sometimes they were sermons preceded by texts or readings, usually Bible verses. I didn't have a text in mind when I wrote my talk for today, but then I discovered one accidentally in this week's index. There's a very fine article about the Armstrong lecture, which brings prominent scholars to campus, in this case, Dr. Karen King from Harvard Divinity School. Now, anyone who graduated from K before 1970 did not have the Armstrong lecture as part of their K plan, but as part of the K plan today. The index article is by senior Elaine Ezekiel, who, like so many others, has shaped a pretty extraordinary K plan for herself. Here's the quote from Elaine's article and a fitting text for this morning's remarks. Elaine writes, "After her talk, King offered a piece of advice to students struggling with ambiguity in their research. 'The wrestling is where everything is,' she said. 'The wrestling is where life is. The wrestling is where all the certainty and the fun is, goodness. And that's what makes you alive, that you're asking and engaging.'" End quote. I think that quote relates to my assignment, which is to celebrate the K Plan's 50th anniversary by describing what it is. Full disclosure, there are better candidates for this task. I read the work of some of these better candidates to prepare for this talk. Larry Barrett, considered the K Plan's chief gardener, wrote about the genesis of the K Plan on the occasion of its 25th birthday. That excellent essay is titled "Betting the Store," an image that suggests both risk and therefore the possibility of failure, as well as play and fun. And Dick Stavig, who accompanied the first group of K students on study abroad in the summer of 1958, gave a talk at this very podium in 1988 on the origins of our foreign study program, which predated the K Plan by 4 years, then became part of it. Some might say the most prominent part. In both the essay and the speech, Barrett and Stavig talk about the strengths of the K Plan, and they also talk about its flaws. I love that they talk about both. I figure a thing with flaws is a thing alive, and I think gardeners who seek and face flaws are improving something that's organic and always will be. Barrett wrote that the intent of the K Plan was not to revolutionize. It wasn't revolutionary. None of its elements were new. Study abroad, career service, the senior individualized project all had precedents, some very ancient. Barrett describes the K-Plan's origin with great humility. "We made our changes," he wrote, "with the primary objective of creating the best place to teach and the best place to learn that we could devise." What a simple, humble sentence. At its birth, the K-Plan was people who cared a lot about learning, testing a new combination of tried ways to learn. And they decided together to gamble on this new combination. In his essay, Barrett implies that the most important part of this simple definition of the K-Plan is the word together. As for me, I walked smack into the K-Plan in my first freshman class. It was Professor Edward Moritz's Western Civilization course, and I was immediately stunned by two things. First, how much reading I was going to have to do in 10 weeks in just this one class. I had two others. My second shock was the professor himself. He was what T.S. Eliot called a superior sensibility. I hadn't read much of Eliot at age 17, so I didn't have those precise words, a superior sensibility. But even without them, I sensed it was an erudition earned by intellectual labor that went very deep and broad into the way of things. This superior sensibility both inspired and humbled. On the one hand, if I could achieve just a smidgen of it in 4 years, I'd be very happy. On the other hand, Professor Moritz's education compared to mine seemed like a cathedral compared to a bike shed. Talk about discomfort. But very soon, I began to connect these phenomena: the hard work, the humility, and making a good education. This connection is the K-Plan. And what an intense wind sprint is the 10-week quarter. Barrett and Stavig were a little ambiguous about whether this intensity was a strength or a flaw. All I know is that I had to seek oneness, a unity in my 3 courses, history, English, and biology, that very first term. If these different disciplines could cross-fertilize my papers and homework and labs, it might save me some time. So I started to think that way, to seek the DNA shared by literature, biology, and history. And I think that kind of thinking became a persistent habit. That, too, is the K-Plan. Fast forward a year and a half. The K-Plan said I should take an art class. But I was an English major, a basketball player. I knew I wanted to teach high school English after I graduated. So why an art class? The K-Plan said I needed it. So did the Fellowship in Learning, by the way. Just one example of the K-Plan honoring what came before it. So I registered for Renaissance Art History, Professor Marcia Wood. And for 10 weeks, Professor Wood made me uncomfortable with all I didn't know about Renaissance art. Bless her for that. I don't remember being encouraged that I had done well too often. Bless her again. I know she never told me that I had at least done the best I could, and praise her for that especially. My first paper in that class was on the sculptor Donatello, and I worked hard on it. It was 20 pages long, but it was not first-rate work, and damned if she was going to praise it. bless her. Her uncompromising stance on my first paper made a difference in my second on the Venetian painter Titian. More importantly, it made a difference in the way I was beginning to learn how to think and work in the development of an intellectual discipline I'd seen and envied in Dr. Moritz and my other teachers, including Professor Wood. So God bless her for praising only first-rate work and bluntly criticizing lesser performance. That's the K-Plan. Let's talk about the K-Plan and failure. I haven't said too much about study abroad, considered by many to be the most prominent part of the K-Plan. I didn't go, but I know how important it can be. About a month ago, I had dinner with Paloma Cloesy, class of 2011, and a fellow English major. Her study abroad in Kenya was the most important educational experience she had in her K-Plan. She says it changed the course of her life. I've always thought of study abroad as an opportunity to struggle spectacularly and fail occasionally. A chasm of mystery and the unknown, both exciting and intimidating, before which I withered in my sophomore summer. Having failed to meet the application deadline for foreign study in England, I defaulted to the Madrid program and then at the last minute backed out. I didn't speak the language well enough, I thought. What a fool I was. Not to worry though, while my classmates were abroad those 2 quarters, I managed to fail pretty spectacularly close to home. That's another story. But suffice it to say that recovery required 2 overloads, 2 sips, and my return after graduation for 2 additional classes. That's the K-Plan. A chance to fail big and recover. There are people who will give you the space to fail and then be there to help you recover if you wish. All right, to sum up, this thing called the K-Plan is people who weren't afraid to try new things. And they wanted to try new things because they were humble. They never felt they knew enough, especially about how to make learning and teaching better. And because they wanted to try new things, they weren't afraid of working hard, because that's what challenge requires. And they weren't afraid to fail, because that's what challenge occasionally demands. And because they weren't afraid to fail, and did on occasion fail, they learned how to deal with failure. The K-Plan is these people. They lived and worked and studied here in the 1960s, 70s, 80s, and so on. They live and work and study here today. And I'm thankful they do, because they're still making my life better. Final inventory. The K-Plan means hard, intense work, or perhaps I should say wrestling. It means discomfort with what I know, the only remedy for which is the development of intellectual discipline. And of course, there's the chance to fail. So let's see. Hard work, humility, discomfort, and a chance to fail. That sounds like a hell of a plan. And it is. Thank you.
Jim, thank you. You were well equipped to do this. Listed in today's programs are the names of employees who have reached a milestone anniversary in their years of service to the college. Please take a minute to note all of them. In acknowledgement of this anniversary, each recipient will receive a photograph and a certificate. To mark this occasion, the grounds crew has planted a tree on the west side of the Light Fine Arts on Thompson Street. In the years to come, the 2013 Founders Day tree will provide shade and comfort for those who come after us on the fair Arcadian Hill. And I hope those of you who are celebrating an anniversary year will take a minute to stop by and see your tree. Would the individuals who are celebrating 5 years of service please stand and be recognized? I see our provost is among that group, our football coach is among that group. We're so happy you're here. Will the individuals who are celebrating 10 years of service please stand and be recognized? Would individuals celebrating 15 years of service please stand and be recognized? And would individuals who are celebrating 20 years of service to Kalamazoo College please stand and be recognized? Way up in the back, Suzanne. We so appreciate everything you have contributed to this institution, and I hope that you will all remain in the chapel after the program so you can have your photographs taken. Today we have an extremely special group of individuals, members of the Golden Hornet Club. These colleagues have served the college for 25 years or more. This year we are proud to induct 7 more members into this very elite group. As I call your name, please stand and be recognized. Greg Brown. Greg, where are you? Back in the back. Greg, we so appreciate everything you do and your dedication to K. It means so much. Professor Madeline Chu. Is Professor Chu here? Jim Kelly. Jim, are you here? Van Nickert. Van over here in the corner. Professor Jan Solberg. Jan, are you here? Marion Stowers, Director of Financial Aid. And Dara Strauss. Dara, are you here? I want to thank all of our members of the Golden Hornets Club, particularly those that we've inducted today. It is you who make Kalamazoo College such an amazing place. You've impacted students and colleagues because of who you are, because of what you do, but most importantly, because of the way in which you do it. We owe all of you a great debt of gratitude. Before I announce our community awards, I would like to recognize those faculty, staff, and students who have received special recognition this year within the Kalamazoo community and externally. If you are here, please stand and remain standing. The Florence J. Lucasi Fellowship for Excellence in Scholarship, Dr. Carol Anderson. Professors Laura Barraclaw, Arthur Cole, and Jennifer Furchek, who were recently awarded tenure and promotion to the rank of Associate Professor by the Board of Trustees. If any of you are here, will you please stand? Professor Noriko Sujimori is the recipient of an Association of Asian Studies Research Travel Grant to Japan, exploring behind the changes in newspaper horrifics. Dr. Sujimori, congratulations. Professor Laura Furge has been awarded an NIH research grant on the effect of genetic diversity on the mechanism-based inactivation of CYPD2D6. Congratulations. And Marcy Weathers, I see back in the back, and Pam Barrett completed the Institute for Facilities Management program sponsored by the American Association of Higher Education Facilities Officers. Congratulations. Thank you. In February, the college honored 31 seniors with the Senior Leadership Award. If the recipients are here, will you please stand and be recognized? Morium Agaro, Kathleen Barrett, Monica Edger, Ian Flanagan, Angiola Gabriel, Sierra Gillard, Eric Glantz, Mary Goins, Hannah Gray, Samantha Gross, Michael Hicks, Craig Isher, Grace Kelly, Brittany King Please, Allison Ledane, Marva Livesey, Caitlin McCarthy, Bradley Merritt, Bianca Rasho, Margot Record, Darwin Rodriguez, Lauren Rosenthal, Shoshona Shoes Pervez, Anae Shun, Melissa Sparrow, Ava Stout Sharp, Marjorie Tosach, Elizabeth Vincenzi, Yugul Wang, and Charlie Weber. Congratulations. I would like to acknowledge several other students who have recently garnered awards. Sase Mitchell, Senior, received the Michigan Campus Compact's Commitment to Service Award last weekend. Monica Edgerer, K-13, has been awarded a Fulbright English teaching assistantship, and she will be going to Germany. Davis Peace Prize grants have been awarded to Carlene Duguay and Azia Carl, seniors who will be offering educational enrichment in English and computer skills to young teens at the Save Our Souls Orphanage in Haiti this summer, and they're here. Congratulations to all of you. I'd like to ask Will Geddes to please come forward. This spring, Will continued the strong legacy of Kalamazoo College divers by winning the NCAA Division III National Championship in the 3-meter diving event. Now, that wasn't enough for him. He also finished third in the 1-meter event at the National Championship, which together led to his selection as the NCAA Division III Diver of the Year. Will, congratulations. We're really proud of you. Will Mark Ghaffari come forward? See, I got one on my right and one on my left. I'm doing okay. Senior Mark Ghaffari was selected as the 2012-13 All-Men's MIAA Basketball First Team, while also earning academic All-American honors. Mark is one of only 33 Kalamazoo College student athletes who has earned this recognition. The Academic All-America program was created by the College Sports Information Directors of America. Student athletes are nominated based on their academic and athletic achievements. The honorees are then elected at the regional level and subsequently advance to national competition. Mark was one of only 15 players in Division III to be named to the Academic All-American team. Mark, congratulations. The men's swimming and diving team captured the MIAA championship for the third year in a row and finished 20th at the 2003 NCAA Division Championships in Indianapolis. Will the team please stand? Congratulations, gentlemen. Jacob Lindquist and Dylan Shearer earned honorable mention All-American honors at the national championships by finishing 11th and 13th respectively in the 100-meter breaststroke. Please stand. Congratulations, you guys, if you're here. D'Amico Price became Kalamazoo College's all-time leading rusher this past year, setting a school record with 2,861 career rushing yards. And D'Amico is not here because he will be competing this weekend. D'Amico and Jimmy Fry played for the Team Stars and Stripes in a Division III Senior All-Star game in Mexico at the end of the season. Eric Helfman played in the Senior Scout Bowl in South Carolina, and he and D'Amico are scheduled to play this Saturday for Team Michigan against Team Ohio in a Senior Bowl game at the Pro Football Hall of Fame Stadium in Ohio. Can we say, go Michigan? We are exceptionally proud of the multiple accomplishments of all of our students. You have used your talents in service of the college, the community, and the world, and we thank you. I would also like to recognize the young men and women in orange and black who greeted you as you entered today. These are members of the President's Student Ambassadors Program, which we initiated this fall. Student ambassadors are volunteers who serve Kalamazoo College as alumni in support of alumni, donor, and community events. They participate in a wide variety of activities. They offered tours of the field house at homecoming. They guided our Moroccan visitors throughout the community in Kalamazoo this winter. Most recently, they participated at a variety of Join the Swarm gatherings. But before I introduce the student ambassadors, I would like to thank Kate Willard. Kate, if you're here, will you please stand for her leadership of the Student Ambassadors Program. I gave Kate the kernel of an idea, and she welcomed the challenge, hit the ground running, and has set the standard for years to come. Thank you so very much, Kate. Will the student ambassadors who are here please stand and be recognized? Thank you. We are in the midst of selecting student ambassadors for the coming year, so we've received a lot of recommendations from faculty and staff and look forward to seeing them in the future. Today, we also recognize a member of our community who has demonstrated excellence in a critically important area in the life of Kalamazoo College, academic advising. Advisors are academic mentors who notice what is happening to their advisees. They pay attention to their progress and help them identify and fulfill their goals. This advisor embodies breadth in the liberal arts and has studied several distinctly separate fields in great depth. He is completely immersed in his own academic discipline, but he is open, curious, and engaged in many others. This advisor follows his own passions and encourages students to dream, explore, learn, and think big. This individual advises a wide range of students from all over the campus, from fine arts to humanities and languages and social sciences, and even the natural sciences. He works equally well with confused first-year students and laser-focused seniors. This advisor exemplifies the college's commitment to a diverse student body and international and intercultural focus. This person's enthusiasm is contagious, and his imagination and creativity are seemingly endless. We honor this individual for his consistent, caring commitment to the well-being of our students. One student writes, "As an advisee and student of this professor for the past 4 years, I have been fortunate enough to be the beneficiary of his excellent advising and teaching. He has always been attentive to my academic progress, both inside and outside of the music department. At the onset, he helped me develop my goals, and during my 4 years here, he has made sure I have fulfilled them. Dr. Tung's wonderful personality and enthusiasm for all he does has made for a truly enjoyable advising experience, and I am so grateful for that." Is Dr. Tung here? Will you please come forward, Dr. Tung? I am very pleased to present the 2013 Outstanding Advisor Award for Exceptional Academic Mentoring of Students to Professor Leslie Tung. Congratulations. And now for the Outstanding First Year Student Advocate Award. Today we honor the 2013 Outstanding First Year Advocate. This award is given to an educator who has made significant contributions to the academic and personal development of students during the first year of college. Even before the school year starts, this year's recipient works with many first-year students and helps them frame their education. This year's awardee is described by students in glowing terms. One student writes that this person is reliable and selfless, someone who continually pushes others before himself and makes it a point to be available to anyone at any time for any reason. Another says that he, quote, works his heart out to make sure we get there, unquote. Another says he walks the talk. He inspires and requires his students to do their very best, even at 6 to 8 a.m. workouts 4 days a week. If these stellar qualities remind you of our football coach, you are right. It's Coach Jamie Zorbo we're talking about here. Coach, another student writes, Coach Zorbo has had a tremendous influence on me during my time at K, since the first minute I showed up for fall camp freshman year. He not only simplified the daunting task of becoming a successful student athlete, but he made the ride something I will never forget. His values and qualities are reflected in the young men he coaches, and he will always be one of my lifelong friends and role models. Through hard work, dedication, and friendship, he betters the football team, the college, and the community every day. I am so proud to call him my coach. Please join me in welcoming this year's outstanding first-year advocate, Coach Jamie Zorbo. By honoring these individuals, by recognizing the work of our students, we honor each and every one of you who makes this community a place where we come together to make learning and teaching as good as it can be. And now for the Lux Esto Award. Established in 2007 to honor a current faculty or staff member who has served the college for 26 years or more and who during this period has made a significant contribution to the college, evidenced dedication to the campus community and the mission of Kalamazoo College, and who has promoted goodwill. Eligible individuals can be nominated by any member of the campus community, and the recipient is selected by a committee composed of a representative from the faculty, the staff, the administration, and students. Choosing the Lux Esto Award is not an easy task, and I'd like to thank the committee members for their work. And now I'd like to read the citation. The 2013 Lux Esto recipient is highly regarded by students, faculty, and former colleagues. One noted, and I quote, "Like in the movie It's a Wonderful Life, if we stop to consider what Kay would be like today without this individual, we would have to imagine a very different place. There are so many things that we take for granted about Kay that this person is responsible for initiating," unquote. Another said, "I literally cannot imagine a more appropriate and deserving individual for this award. Over these many years, I have watched with amazement and pleasure the deep dedication this colleague has to the college and the incredible talents he has brought to furthering the life and quality of Kalamazoo College." Someone else commented, "Anyone who has had any interaction with this individual knows that he's always willing to help, always expresses thanks, and makes a point of recognizing a job well done." Described as a remarkably talented and beloved teacher, it's no surprise that this individual has worked tirelessly to find ways to improve student learning. Because of this individual's efforts, generations of students have developed a passion for learning. Our 2013 recipient has a demanding yet affable teaching style and the capacity to make the subject matter not simply accessible to students, but deeply relevant and even exciting. This individual is also recognized as a generous teacher of colleagues, a person who has modeled the kind of sustained interdisciplinary discussion among faculty colleagues that makes a liberal arts college so very vital. One colleague suggested that above all, and I quote, "This individual has sustained the style and effectiveness of Francis Diebold, one of the greatest teachers in the college's history and central to establishing the college's strong reputation in the natural sciences. A model of liberal learning, the recipient's interests include history, psychology, sociology, and literature. He can also be seen at athletic events and Monte Carlo and a host of other student programs. Let me outline a few other things this individual has done. He devoted countless hours and energy to developing and maintaining the Lillian Anderson Arboretum as a campus and community resource, serving as its first director. He represented the biology department in the planning and the building of the Dow Science Building. He transformed the senior seminar in biology to the Diebold Symposium as a capstone event where seniors present their SIPs in a scientific format with peers, mentors, and faculty. He spearheaded the college's recycling effort over 25 years ago. He provided leadership for and strengthened the culture of assessment on campus, and by doing so, helped raise the profile of the college as an excellent academic institution. He authored a series of grants that have garnered financial support for research in the areas of pedagogy and advising, and by doing so has provided opportunities for faculty and staff to develop new understandings of transformational learning, structured reflection, and effective advising strategies. And given his long-standing interest in the college's history, traditions, and future, it is no surprise that he served on 2 reaccreditation committees within a 10-year period, taking strong leadership in each of these efforts. This individual and his wife have opened their home to generations of students and faculty colleagues in an effort to deepen and sustain campus community. This individual has initiated the traditions of the International Flag Ceremony at the first-year convocation and the faculty celebration of graduates at commencement. Is there anyone who does not know that for over 28 years, Dr. Paul Sutherland has been at Kalamazoo College? Paul, please come forward. In this year that we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the K Plan, I can think of no better recipient for the Lux Esto Award than Dr. Paul Sutherland. Congratulations. I hope you were surprised. I hope a little bird didn't tell you to make sure you got here.
Nobody did.
Let's get a picture. And now I would like to ask our chaplain and director of religious life to come forward and give a blessing for our community. Anniversary recipients, please remain to take your pictures. Thank you for being with us, and thank each and every one of you for what you do to make Kalamazoo College such an extraordinary place.
And now, friends, may our minds be open to unending conversation. May our vision be open to imagination. May our lives be open to transformation. May we join in the spirit of recreation now and always. Amen.